بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. Inshallah, this is going to be our second session of BAHTH of Sayyid al-Khoi قدس سره. Now this BAHTH is simplified to the level of Lum'a because if instead of teaching Lum'a, I like to teach this in the level of Lum'a. I have a different opinion and I respect other opinions as well. That at least in Lum'a, at least here, you will know some practical laws and some practicality of the laws which you are encountering. So that's why it's more narrowed down to the fiqh encyclopedia, where we have more practical things and more, because we have a lot of contemporary issues coming up and they were not in the time of Sahib al-Lum'a rahmatullah alayh. So if you after you do this bath and you open the chapter in Lum'a, you will understand it. I guarantee you that. Many times I taught Minhaj al-Salihin to my students and they were able to grasp the Lum'a. So, Lum'a Dimashqiyya. So therefore, see, when Minhaj, we try to elaborate on analytical aspects as well. So that is why this is going to be a downgrade to Lum'a style, or Fiqh al-Istidlali of Sheikh al-Ayrawani, which is also a new phase of Lum'a. So it is always good that after you do this, but chapter of Taqlid is not available in Lum'a. So because it became specified in later times. So in the time of Sahib al-Lum'a, it was always embedded in the rules of judge, because taqleed was there, but it was not a specific chapter as a taqleed. It was on the responsibilities of the judge, responsibilities of the people who are taking the rulings from the judge, and from that it was expanded further to the concept of taqleed, because judge is mujtahid, and the person who is taking the decree, or the parties who are taking the decree from the judge, they are basically doing taqleed to the judge in that specific area, and they have to do taqleed. So this obligation also came out from, so we are going to see these issues inshallah. So that's why I like to take Bahth of Sayyid al-Khoi, because it has taqleed chapter in it, because many questions are coming from youth and many doubts are being created about taqleed. It was not there. Why? From where did this come? It's not. We don't have to do taqleed, especially from our Ikhbari brothers. They have this kind of tendency to create doubts against taqleed, though they also do taqleed. Many of them I have discussed with them. I said, you do taqleed. You do taqleed to the translators of the book. We do taqleed to the scholars. Because those Ikhbaris who are non-Arabs, where do they go? They look at the translations. Translators are, one word can have several meanings in Arabic language. So therefore, it is not correct to say that we are not doing taqleed. Nobody's away from taqleed. Only person who reaches the level of ijtihad, and that person needs to have depth in Arabic language. Without that, he will never be able to reach the level of ijtihad. So that's why Arabic language is very important for those people who would like to continue the path of ijtihad. Inshallah, all of you are the chosen ones, inshallah, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to attend this session. But inshallah, and chosen by the Imam for bigger missions, inshallah. So we just a question which was last week uh, about there was a mixture between dalil aqli and between nafsi and ghairi. So if I'll open up the page of Sayyid al-Khoi Quddus Sirro, and we will see that where the confusion fell. So this is okay. don't know whether you are able to see, but I think let me just share the whole screen then. Let me share again so that I want English side by side with the Arabic. So if I share the screen, you'll see both of them. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I'll back to sharing the screen. Okay. So they're side by side, both of them, English and Arabic, and we are going to just uh, so here's where the issue happened. Uh, Remember when we mentioned let me just pull the pen. Okay. So when we look into the side of English, um, yeah, you see here, is this obligation rooted in Shari'i, to be intrinsic, nafsi, tariqi, ghairi, or it is rational? So what happened here that these three, I'll go further down. Yeah, these three, ghairi and tariqi and nafsi, they are part of religious evidences. They are associated somehow. These three types of rulings are associated with the religious evidence. So this is a whole different department from the dalil al-aqli, number one. Yes, there are, these are intellectual concepts. Some of them are, okay, intellectual concept that we use. But is it dalil aqli? Dalil aqli is like muqaddimatul wajib wajib. Remember, like opening the faucet, there's no dalil. Buying the ticket, there's no dalil, shar'i. So, but because Hajj has become wajib, the shar'i thing has become wajib, we have to perform this. How do I relate this with Hajj, wujub of Hajj? Because the question can come, okay, it is muqaddimah of religious, it is muqaddimah of religious responsibility, which is derived by religious evidence. So isn't it connected with the? Yes, it is connected, but it came in the picture because you are not able to perform Hajj without traveling. You're not able to perform wudu without opening the faucet. So that's why your intellect tells you it is wajib upon you to open the faucet, okay, to reach the religious purpose. So this is dalil aqli, which is telling you, yeah, there's another muqaddimah prerequisite, which is shar'i. Shar'i, because it is derived from religious evidence. Okay. Like what? Like I have wudu. La salata illa bitahur. Okay. Or for example, we have evidences, religious evidences indicating do not pray without wudu. Or if you don't have wudu, tayammum. So what does that mean? This wajib is shar'i. This wajib is shar'i. And this wajib is shar'i. It is the muqaddimah of the religious evidence. So their dalil al-aqli was muqaddimah for religious responsibility. But the source was aql. But still it is connected to the religious evidence. Opening the faucet. It's connected. Without it, Okay? Without it, we would not have come to this wujub. So this is called wujub aqli, but it is connected with wujub shar'i. So it comes under the umbrella of religious evidences, not dalil aqli, pure dalil aqli. Okay? So that is number one. Number two, the same muqaddimah can be religious muqaddimah. La salata bituhu. So we have prerequisite which is religious, derived from the religious evidences, and the consequence is also religious. And if it was not for that wujub wudu, wujub of salat, this wujub of wudu not have become wajib. Why? Because when you don't have to pray, wudu is not wajib. Wudu is wajib only in certain cases. One of the strongest case is to do the salat, like that, to touch the Quran and this and that. But we're talking about one specific example so we can distinguish the two types of muqaddimah, prerequisite, religious prerequisite, shar'i prerequisite. They both are related to what? Related to religious evidence. So that is why this is considered wujub ghayri, which is connected with the religious evidence, which is connected with the religious ruling. That was one. And then wujub nafsi, that is religious evidence telling you that salat is wajibah. And then there is wujub tariqi. Tariqi is Sharia told you to do something, but did not give you and gave you a method also to do that thing. But this method, if you find an alternative route and skip this method, you are okay, because the aim is important. Sharia has mentioned the method, did not mention the aim. Okay, so this method I have to implement, or I can bypass. Example I gave you, moon sighting. Sharia told you to sight the moon. Now this sighting the moon is the aim or is the mean? If it is an aim, it will be wujub mawdu'i. That means I have to sight the moon. But if it is a tariq, method, mean, to reach the main purpose, main aim is to prove that the month has begun, the beginning of the month. So if I have another route than the shar'i route given to me to reach the purpose, I can skip and I can reach the purpose. So this was wujub tariqi. That means, that means it's the tariq to reach the aim. Okay, if I find alternate route, this wajib drops down. That alternate route becomes wajib. Okay, so the difference between wujub tariqi and wujub nafsi, wujub ghairi, like wudu and opening the faucet, I don't have any other way. I have to observe that to reach the wujub shar'i. But here, no, if I find another route, I can skip. In salah, I cannot skip wudu unless if I have the reasons of tayammum. Ghusl, I cannot skip. Ghusl is wujub tariqi. Ghusl is wujub ghairi. I have to do wudu, ghusl. Let's say I have a way just to take a shower and not make intention. I did the purpose. I cleaned myself. No, 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 no. The ghusl is required because it is muqaddimah, the religious ghusl, with the intention, with the specific methodology. Even though in the shower you may clean yourself more than what you might have done in ghusl, but there's no intention, there's no sequence, so it is not ghusl. Okay, so this is the difference between ghairi. You cannot skip. Okay, if you have only one way, that's to buy the ticket, you have to buy the ticket. Here, knowing the month is important. This tariq is not important. If you find another tariq, you can skip it. So this is where the key difference comes, that you can skip both. You can skip in one, in tariqi, you can skip the mean, get another mean. But shar'i, I mean ghairi, you cannot skip the muqaddimah. So this was the difference. And this is all in the realm of dalil al-shar'i. So, and nafsi, wujub nafsi. I have religious evidence telling me that this is wajib nafsi. So what is this dalil aqli which we are proving taqleed from? Dalil aqli is not associated in any way to religious evidence. Because the religious evidences, for example, are weak. For Sayyid al-Khouyi Quddus sirruh, they're weak. He cannot get any muqaddimah shar'iyya from out of it, any muqaddimah aqliyya out of it. This is like, for example, to know the responsibility, or do taqleed, for example, or to find out your responsibility, ijtihad, ihtiyat, taqleed. He says religious evidences, be it nafsi, there's no religious evidence authentic to him, says that taqleed is wajib nafsi like salah. You have to do taqleed, or you have to do ijtihad. Number one. Number two, there is no dalil tariqi. That means this is something, taqleed is wajib, and there are several tariq to reach the taqleed or ihtiyat or ijtihad. That is also not available because there is no dalil shar'i. Because why should there be tariq? If there was dalil shar'i, clearly authentic dalil shar'i, clearly telling you to do taqleed, ijtihad, ihtiyat, one of these ways. So because there is no dalil shar'i, the issue of tariqi goes away. There is no dalil shar'i, the issue of ghairi goes away. There's no dalil shar'i nafsi, making ijtihad or taqleed or wajib, okay, then that goes away. So these dalil shar'i is not available, because the foundation of nafsi, dalil shar'i, foundation of ghairi, dalil shar'i, foundation of tariqi, dalil shar'i. The whole idea is dalil shar'i is not available. So dalil aqli. So dalil aqli, there is no anything shari in it? No. Why? So what is the foundation of taqleed when it comes to dalil aqli? The foundation of taqleed is, there's no dalil shar'i because the evidences are weak, for example, not clear. The foundation of dalil aqli is, I need to know I am a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I need, and being servant of Allah is also dalil aqli, because He created you. So you are the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that puts on your shoulders certain obligations. You see? So the whole thing, the whole prerequisite is aqli. Okay? So I need to know my responsibility. Okay? So how will you know? I have piles of evidences, Quran and Hadith. So my aql tells me I have to find out my rulings. My aql tells me what does my master Allah wants. Okay? So I have to find out my rulings. If I cannot find ruling, the intellectual society, if they don't know any specific area of knowledge, they refer to professionals. So again, intellectual argument. So you have to refer to someone who's mutakhassis, who's experienced, who has expertise in this. Good. But what about ihtiyat? Again, if I know there's a path and there's a danger, so I need to take, my aql tells you, as I said, you know that there's a road which is flooded with water. If you go there, people, they say, it's raining, the road is lower, so the water level is high. There may be the road may be flooded, so it's up to you. You and your chance. It might not be flooded, it might be flooded. So what will you take? Will you take that chance? No. Your aql tells you, are you crazy? Back off, abort, abort, abort. Don't go there. So aql tells you to take necessary precautionary measures when there is a threat or danger or harm or hazard, probable hazard, probable harm, probable. So ihtiyat. Okay. So that's why if there are evidences, there are ahadith, but I'm not a mujtahid. Okay. I have certain amount of knowledge. Maybe I can understand some hadith, but not to the level that I can derive the law from that hadith. So then you perform ihtiyat. Okay, you don't have to do taqleed. You have to do ihtiyat because you're not mujtahid and you are not, you don't want to be muqallid. So it's necessary for you to choose. There's no other route. So this is the purely understanding the intellect, understanding the danger and the harm which might rise of violating the master's command, probable commands and probable prohibitions. You see, so this is what I wanted to clarify, where there was a bit confusion about this wujub aqli. So taqlid falls in aqli nafsi, not shar'i nafsi. Taqleed by itself is wajib. By itself is wajib. Or ihtiyat by itself is wajib. Or ihtiyat. Or yes, we can say it is wujub takhyiri. There's an option. Three options are there. Ikhtiyar. One of them is wajib. You cannot skip intellectually. You cannot skip three of them. You can skip two of them, but not three of them. So you choose one, it is wajib upon you to choose one. So that was something which I wanted to clarify about the confusion that might have happened between ghairi and tariqi and between shar'i nafsi or no, muqaddima aqliya. Yes, some scholars, they use muqaddima aqliya to support the religious evidences indicating the taqlid or indicating the ijtihad. But for Sayyid al-Khouy Quddasa Sirro, Dalil Aqli is more stronger. And why he is using more stronger? Because he is supporting the ihtiyat, precautionary measure, the intellectual ihtiyat. Now you will tell me, what is intellectual ihtiyat? Ihtiyat al-aqli. Let me open my whiteboard and explain this so that further I can elaborate. I have sent you some material on WhatsApp related to what I'm going to clarify, because you will need to know this in today's lesson. So I'm not going to go into detail because it's not dars usul, okay? But we need to bring some usuli concepts in so you can understand the BAHTH. Okay. You will study this in detail in Ilm al-Usul. I have sent you some usuli papers, usuli links of the thing. So focus with me. We have two major directions in whenever we are doubting in a religious responsibility, then we have two major uh what they say directions. Let me just okay. Since you can read Arabic at this level, you have to read Arabic. So I'll write in Arabic. We have two directions, two uh, practical stances on Doubtful responsibilities. I apologize because this pen slips on the screen, so that's why my writing will be horrible a bit. But inshallah, inna Allah ma'as sabirin. So whenever you doubt, either you do ihtiyat, precaution, either you are free from liability. Okay, so not responsible. We call it al-bara'ah. Al-bara'ah yani bari. He's innocent, he's not guilty. Okay, bari, bara'ah, denouncing yourself from something, denouncing yourself from allegiance to some people, denouncing yourself from the relation to someone. Some people, they say ana bari min wuldi, I'm denouncing my any ties between me and me. So we school of Ahlul Bayt, followers of Ahlul Bayt, we love Ahlul Bayt. We do bara'ah from their enemies, even if the enemy was a small enemy, we don't care. Even if it was related to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Bara'a means total disconnection. We don't have anything to do with it. We keep distance ourselves from them. That is bara'a. So here, bari means there's no charges. He's away from being guilty. Okay, not guilty. Here in this usuli context, there is no responsibility. He's away from the responsibility. He's away from any kind of accountability, freedom of accountability, freedom of liability. So this is called freedom from accountability or liability. And then we have ihtiyat. Precaution. Perfect. So both are concepts of intellectual society. Okay? Both are concepts of intellectual society. But can we use it in Islamic situation when a mujtahid does not find any evidence, religious evidence? So I have to write here absence of religious evidence. And you can use it with merged with religious evidence. The spell checks messed up our spelling ability. Once upon a time, we could memorize the phone numbers. Now, you barely have phone numbers in your mind. We could memorize the spelling and not make, but the spell checks, and all these gadgets, I think one day they're going to take control over us. They're making us weak and weak and weak. Anyhow, I don't want to go Terminator theory. Okay. So, al-ihtiyat. Now, so what does ihtiyat mean? Ihtiyat means al-ishtighal al-yaqini. That means uh, certain certainty of fulfilling leads to relief from responsibility. الاشتغال اليقيني يستدعي الفراغ اليقيني. If yaqinan, certainly you are preoccupied with the probable responsibility, then you are free from accountability. You are relieved. Why? I don't know. It is wajib or mustahab. I said, let me do it. On the day of judgment, you will not be held accountable, certainly. Because if it was mustahab, you did it. If it was wajib, you did it. Once you preoccupied, inshaghala, yashtaghilu. Excuse me. Like Imam Ali alayhi salam says, Rahimullah mra'an, اشتغل بعيب نفسه عن عيوب الآخرين. Allegedly, Imam Ali says. Now, we found out many of the Ghurar al-Hikam, we don't know whether Imam Ali said or not. So hopefully, but it's a word of wisdom. So, Rahimallah Amrun, may Allah have His mercy upon a person. Inshaghala bi'aibi. He's preoccupied. Inshaghala. Ishtighal. Remember this word? Inshaghala bi'aibi nafseh. He's preoccupied with his own defect. And عيوب الآخرين, from the defects of other people. Inshaghala. So when you have al-ishtighal al-yaqini, you did it. On the day of judgment, Allah will not tell you why did you did it. Okay? So no. Ya Allah, either it was mustahab, either it was wajib. That is what was appeared from your evidences. So I did it. Allah will not hold you accountable. You're yaqinan, for sure, you are relieved. So if you certainly preoccupy yourself from probable responsibility, you have relieved yourself certainly. That is ihtiyat. الاشتغال اليقيني يستدعي الفراغ اليقيني. You have doubt between qasr and tamam. You did both of them. Yaqeen. So you did yaqinan both of them. On the day of judgment, they will not ask you, why didn't you pray qasr if you had prayed tamam? Why didn't you have prayed tamam if you had prayed qasr? So ishtighal al-yaqini yastad'i al-faragh al-yaqini. So that is ihtiyat. Okay? Al-bara'a, they have this also caption phrase. So caption phrase of ihtiyat, you will see your marja whenever, or mujtahid in BAHTH al-kharij, wherever, when he comes to ihtiyat, he will just say that. They like to repeat these mottos or these captures, stage sentences. الاشتغال اليقيني يستدعي الفراغ اليقيني. And what about bara'a? They have this capture space. قبح العقاب بلا بيان. Okay? It is indecent to punish without informing. Like, for example, your child comes home, you tell him to get some grocery. He comes home, he brings the grocery, and he does not bring milk. The father shouts at him and gives him a slap on the right and the left, and شو ما جبت or شنو ما جايب the Iraqi. So anyhow, why didn't you bring milk? Dad, you did not tell me to bring milk. You told me to bring grocery. I brought grocery. Isn't milk from the grocery? Yeah, but if you were interested in milk as well, you should have specified. Dad, you did not specify. And then every time I come, I bring this grocery and you're happy. I did not get a revelation. Jibreel alayhi salam did not come to me and told me, bring grocery for your father, or you did not. So it is indecent. If father punishes him, it is indecent to punish him without informing. This is called قبح العقاب. قبيح means indecent. قبح العقاب بلا بيان. Okay, now I think so you got the picture of two directions of ulama. So sometimes you'll see alim saying ihtiyat, Sometimes the alim not observing ihtiyat, doing bara'ah, because marja tries to look into the evidences and mujtahid, and finally he sees some kind of hesitation. Dalil is not strong, but he sees there is a kind of strength, a bit strength, but not yet certainty. So he'll say ihtiyat, I'm observing precaution, you follow me. If you don't want to follow, you can refer to another alam who relieves you from the responsibility, who uses bara'ah. Okay? Who uses what? Bara'ah. But I'm going to use ihtiyat in a doubtful situation. Marja is hesitating. Another marja is hesitating. One marja says obligatory precaution, ihtiyat wajib. Another marja says no, recommended precaution. You want to do fine? No, that's fine. Okay? So this is like, for example, Sayyid al-Khoi had this people of book, obligatory precaution, impure. And Sayyid Sistani says it's recommended precaution to avoid whatever they touch with wetness, but not obligatory precaution. So recommended precaution. So he's doing a lighter. That means he used bara'ah. That means he gave you relief from the responsibility, freedom from the responsibility. If you eat something which was touched with wetness of people of book, you are okay. You did not eat najasa. It's recommended precaution to avoid, you see. And the same thing comes with, say, the Sistani with the non-people of book kuffar. He says obligatory precaution. There are no evidences making kafir najis. But obligatory precaution, avoid. He doesn't use the word najasat. Avoid whatever they touch with wetness. Ayatollah Nasir Makarim, for example, he says, no, it is makruh to consume whatever they touch with wetness. So this is how they deal with the areas which are gray, which are with the evidences are not decisive, where the dalil shari is not decisive in its indication. So then we have al-bara'a. There are two types. Some ulamas, they say the bara'a is aqli. We don't need shari. It's sufficient. It's intellectual society. They cannot they find it indecent to punish somebody who didn't give warning. It's Allah doesn't do that. وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا. Wait. Are you using intellectual evidences or you are using religious evidences? No, intellectual. Then keep وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ. That is religious evidence. We were not going to punish any nation unless we send messenger. You have used religious evidences. Okay? Don't bring religious evidences. You say bara'a in قبح العقاب بلا بيان. Intellectual society, it is indecent to punish someone without giving warning, by intellectuals, not by crazy people who consider Muslims are terrorists until proven to be guilty. Those are crazy people. Those are not intellectual. But intellectual society, the real intellectual rule, a person is innocent until proven to be guilty. Bari hatta tathbut idanatu. So the same thing in our religious, in a religious circle, a person is innocent. I mean, this is what I told you. There are like two directions. Okay, so aqli. He said aqlan bara is enough. I don't need religious bara'a. Okay, that's one. Then we have bara'a shar'iyya. So this was bara'a aqliya. Sorry about that. Bara'a aqliya. And then there is bara'a shar'iyya. Religious evidence indicating freedom of liability. Then you come and bring وَمَا كُنَّا مُعَذِّبِينَ رُفِعَ عَنْ أُمَّتِي مَا لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. These hadith are available in the links I sent you. Okay? That there are evidences, they support bara al-aqliya. So, because we have bara shar'iyya, religious bara. Here, intellectual bara. Okay, perfect. What about ihtiyat? Ihtiyat also, remember, the flooded water, the lion is loose in the path. You might not encounter, but there is a danger, probable danger. So they said no. Whenever there's a probable danger, aql tells us intellectual precaution. But then there are people, they said that nay, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ. There are evidences. احتط لنفسك دينك أخوك دينك فاحتط There are evidences. I've sent you the link also, because this is not dars of ilm al-usul. I'm just giving you the things which will help us understand this bahth. Okay? So I've sent you the pages, links, in case if you're interested to know the differences between براءة الشرعية والبراءة العقلية, الاحتياط العقلي. العقلي والاحتياط الشرعي. Okay? So now we understood. I'm going to quickly recap this, and I'm going to come to the point which is the point of discussion in our session today, or which was in our session today. But this is very important. This will encounter us every now and then, because you see there are areas al-ahwat wujuban. There are areas al-ahwat istihbaban. There are areas, so you see bara'a and ihtiyat are used frequently. So to go to this bahth, it's very important for you to understand this introduction for the argument which we are going to, or we are supposed to take today. Okay, so now you know there is bara'a, there is ihtiyat. Freedom of any responsibility when you're doubtful. Is it wajib or not? Not wajib. Is it haram or not? Not haram. Or no, you observe precautionary measures. Okay? Because haram means there's a probable punishment. So to avoid the probable danger, intellectual society, they use ihtiyat. Fasten your seat belts. Spare tire in the car. Lot of areas, fire extinguisher. We don't know there's going to be fire or not, but there's a probability. So put fire extinguisher. So intellectual society hardly puts this ihtiyat into measure. Safety rules, safety this. You have to read the card, which in some of the airlines you go, they use it to aerate themselves because of the hot weather, and the plane is hot and everything. So yeah, so that safety card has dual purpose. Like Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, when Allah asked him, what is in your right hand? He gave a long story, and then waliya fiha ma'aribu ukhra, and there are other things also, other benefits for my stick. So this safety card in the airplane, it has other benefits. So that is ihtiyat. Okay, so that is ihtiyat aqli. But then you come to the religious evidences, you find certain evidences indicating that Sharia wants you to do ihtiyat. If this is understood, I'm going to now present the directions. Whenever there's a doubtful evidence, okay, so I'm going to erase this and put or let me go to other page. Next page. It's good that we have here. Perfect. Okay. So now some scholars, they said to us, like al-bara'a is the case in doubtful. Why? Because there is religious evidence. I will put RE for religious evidence, and there is supported by intellectual evidence. I don't want to put AI. That is one direction. Let's say we take bara'a. Intellectual says bara'a, religious says bara'a. Some they said vice versa. Some says intellect says bara'a, and religious evidences support it. The other direction, they said, yes, intellect says bara'a. However, the religious evidences tells us to do ihtiyat. Like many ikhbari schools, they say, no, no, we don't go with aql. We go with the sharia, religious evidence, dalil shar'i. Okay? So RE, religious evidences. Most of the ikhbaris, if they do ihtiyat, excuse me, it's based on the religious evidences. We come to the third area, third direction. They say, no, we do, intellect tells us to do ihtiyat. And this is intellectual evidence. And religious evidence confirms the ihtiyat. Okay? Intellectual evidence tells us do ihtiyat, and religious evidence confirms the ihtiyat. Okay? And this could be also opposite side. Some might say, no, religious evidence, like ikhbaris, they say, no, religious evidence tells us to do ihtiyat. But it's supported by intellectual evidence as well. When they argue with usuli, they say you are observing intellectual evidences. So ihtiyat, you should also do ihtiyat. Then we have the fourth direction. They say al-ihtiyat is intellectual evidence. However, the religious evidences overrid. So ihtiyat has been overridden by the religious evidences of al-bara'ah. Okay? So these are the four directions. So we are going to compare two directions. This one and this one. Many usuli maraja', they said it's bara'ah. Okay? And some of them, this also, but I'm not going to discuss this direction. Some of them, they say, yeah, it is bara'ah, but ihtiyat needs to be done. Now, in general, we are talking specification, these overlap. But in as we will see. So in general, we need to know the methodology. So methodology of ulamas, our usuli ulamas, they were always in the sense of bara'ah. And they say, unless if there is evidence overriding it, then we go to ihtiyat in certain areas, in certain cases. Okay? That is religious evidence, which is this direction. Okay? So we will observe bara'ah unless if there is evidence, religious evidence telling us. I think this covers that area. So I'll just to prevent you from confusion, just yeah, I'll stick with this one. Okay. So what about this direction? This direction said we are observing ihtiyat. Okay. We are observing ihtiyat. Unless if Sharia tells us, no, you use bara'ah. So now you know we have two directions. Some they said bara'ah is the primary rule. So now we come to give you this terminology. Primary rule. Primary intellectual rule, sorry. Intellectual. And then we have secondary rule. This is religious. Shar'i. Okay. So we have moved further, narrow it down. So their primary rule is intellectual, okay? And secondary rule is what? Is religious. I'm going to use now a green pen. Okay. So this is now the agreement between the Usuli scholars. Because what does intellect tell us? A group said Bara'ah. Another group said Ihtiyat. So we got divided. One group said Ihtiyat. One group said Bara'ah. Aqlan. And what about the Shar'i? They said unless, see, Shar'i is unless. We have to observe the rule of aql unless if it is overridden by Sharia. Unless if Sharia gave us the rule of ihtiyat. So these people who said Bara'a, they said unless the Sharia gives us Bara'a. This is okay. They say it's Bara'a. If I'm doubtful, Allah will not punish me. Intellectually, if Allah punishes, it's indecent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to punish me without letting me know. Okay? So these people, sorry, what did I do? These people, they said, if Allah wants us to do ihtiyat, He needs to let us know. Okay, you are free from liability, except in these cases, you need to observe ihtiyat. And that's where the religious evidences came. They narrowed down ihtiyat to certain cases. This is the methodology of the intellectual primary rule bara'a, and which is overridden in certain cases, not entirely, in certain cases wherever there is religious evidence. Okay, in those cases ihtiyat is used. Other than that, the bara'a is the over and all umbrella of them. Okay, perfect. So what about those who said ihtiyat is a primary rule? They said ihtiyat, we have to observe ihtiyat in every case, unless if there is an evidence. Okay, secondary rule telling us to do bara'a. Again, to clarify, ulamas divided into two groups when it comes to the methodology on what to do when we have a doubtful situation. So when we have a doubtful situation, a group of ulama says we go to the intellect. Tell us what is the intellectual responsibility. What do the intellectual society do? They say, قُبْحُ الْعِقَابِ بِلَا بَيَانٍ. قُبْحُ الْعِقَابِ, indecency of punishment without warning. How can Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the intellect and He's going to hold us accountable. Biki uthibu wa biki uaqibu. Through you I will punish and through you I will reward. So Allah made the criteria aql. Okay? So bara'a is a concept of intellectual society. Then we will do bara every time, unless if Allah shows us, no, I need you to do ihtiyat in ABC area. Other than that, intellectual society is the dominant of the bara'a. Intellectual bara is dominant. This was the bara'a group. Let's come to the ihtiyat group. They say no. Yes, intellectual society, they have this qubhul iqab bila bayan on their narrow and limitations which they are living in, limitations of the intellectual things. Okay? And they many of their judgments, they try to reach out as based in ijtihad. Sometimes a guilty using in his intellectual society concept is freed, and sometimes a free using the concept of intellectual society, bara'a, or is punished. So concepts of intellectual society in our realm, if we say qubhul iqab bila bayan, it is good. It saves lots of lives. Okay? We cannot become like Muawiyah, killing people on doubt. He said, if you doubt it's Shia of Ali or not, kill him. Like nowadays, many of them they do. A person is guilty unless he's killed and proven innocent, or so on speculations. So they said, no, wait. You guys are talking about bara'a aqliya based on the intellectual societies which have these kind of the limitations associated with them, and the mastership relation is not that strong. Like you must obey the judge, but if the judge tells you to drink alcohol, you should not. So his mastership is limited. He has the authority. I can say his authority is limited, you see, to whatever is not haram. Husband tells his wife to do haram, no. Wife tells his husband to do haram, no. Father tells his son to do haram, no. So there are limitations to this mastership or to this authoritativeness. Okay? Limitations, remember. This is which maslak telling you? Maslak of ihtiyat. I'm not going to tell you who, so that you may not be influenced by names. I'm just putting raw material in front of you. And then at the end, I'll tell you what did Sayyid al-Khoi choose and what did Sayyid al-Sadr choose. Okay? So they might have chosen bara aqliya and ihtiyat overridden. They might have chosen ihtiyat aqli. So don't jump to your mind, oh, that must be Silkhui. That must be Silkhui. Okay? Don't jump to the horses of conclusion. Let me complete the argument. So now Bara'a understood. Bara'a Aqliya, they said initial dominant rule is freedom from liability, because intellectual societies, intellect, they do not charge someone unless if it is guilty as charged. They don't hold them accountable. And unless if Bara'a Ihtiyat comes in that specific areas, we have to observe Ihtiyat because Allah wants us to observe Ihtiyat. What about these people, these Ihtiyat people? They say, no. You are right. But this is called maslak haqqut ta'a. Remember this. It will pop up on your faces in ilm al-usul. Maslak haqqut ta'a. Method of right of obedience. These giants, or let me not say giants, all of them are giants. These maraji of maslak haqqut ta'a, okay, they said, wait, you are comparing intellectual society, the system of with Allah's system, the mastership of Allah. The mastership of Allah is very wide and broad. So right of obedience to Allah is broader, maslak haqqut ta'a, is broader than the right of obedience of the normal intellectual people. What do you mean, Sayyidina? Whatever Sayyid, I did not specify which Sayyid. What do you mean, Sayyidina? Because Bara also was said by Sadat as well. Sayyidina, what do you mean by broader? That means Allah is our master, and Allah's authority is very serious to us. So if we doubt that Allah might want to see me in this situation, I need to take precaution. So if I doubt it is wajib or mustahab and I don't have evidence, religious evidence, I will say no, I have to do it. Ihtiyat. If I have doubt between haram and makruh, I have to do it, considering it haram. Okay? اشتغال اليقيني يستدعي الفراغ اليقيني. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell me, why didn't you use precaution? Why you said I had doubt? Why didn't you find out? Why didn't you clarify your doubt? Why didn't you learn? Okay, Allah has the right. He has the right because I am the servant of Allah. I need to observe the precautionary measures whenever I have doubt about the desire of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or say irada, sorry, irada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, desire metaphorically. I Allah has irada for me to pray Salat al-Jum'ah. But I don't know, this irada is for wujub or mustahab. Pray it, wujub, ihtiyat. But no, will he punish me? He has the right to punish you. Since it came in your mind, the probability came in your mind, my master may need this, then you have to fulfill it. But precautionary measures are qubh al-iqab. No, intellectual society, they use precautionary measures, safety rules, fasten your seatbelt, spare tire, all what we spoke. So don't tell me it's not intellectual to use safety rules. So you are using safety rule to save yourself from the probable punishment on the day of judgment. Okay, so this is a dominant rule. But they said, but however, no, let me before this, however. So the dominant rule is we have to observe ihtiyat in every doubtful responsibility. Doubt, probability, larger probability, lower probability. Maslak haqqut ta'a means right of obedience of Allah is broader. It includes probable responsibilities as well, not just certain responsibilities. However, if Allah is going to pardon us from this kind of burden, then he needs to let us know. He needs to let us know that I am not interested in it. Okay, I'm not interested in your precaution. So that is what we say, the bara'a shar'iyyah. Bara'a shar'iyyah. So the dominant is ihtiyat. Unless if Allah is going to relieve me, he needs to tell me. He needs to let me know. Did he? Yes. So there are several arguable evidences. Okay. We will study this in Ilm al-Usul. I'm just going to give you a few just on the, and I send in the link. Al-Bara al-Aql Shar'iyya. Look at the link, the hadith and the ayat which has been presented for to support Bara Ashar. Consider that your homework of Ilm al-Usul. Okay. The links I sent you. So, براءة الشرعية is there. For example, رفع عن أمتي ما لا يعلمون. My ummat, my nation is relieved from whatever they do not know. قبح العقاب بلا بيان. Okay. وما كنا معذبين حتى نبعث رسولا. We were not going to punish any nation until we send them the messenger. Bayan. Without bayan, Allah would not punish. And then there are several evidences which Imam Sadiq alayhi salam has a narration also. The pen is removed. That means from who? Al-Jahil wa Na'im. So there are people, sleeping person, if he does commits a crime, he will not be held accountable. So there are evidences. Try to go through them if you're interested in knowing Bara' al-Shar'iyya, to know the Maslak Haqqut Ta'a. So what does that mean? That means Maslak Haqqut Ta'a said, the dominant rule, the intellectual tells us to ihtiyat. Unless if the Sharia has come and Allah has informed us through the Quran and through His Messenger and Imams alayhi salatu wasalam, all of them, that I'm not interested in your ihtiyat. I want to have mercy on you. So that's why you're relieved from any responsibility or liability if you do not observe ihtiyat. So this method of maslak haqq ta'a says you need to observe ihtiyat, unless wherever there are areas the religious evidences of bara'a covers it, you don't need to do ihtiyat. What does that mean? There are areas, again, there are areas religious evidences do not cover bara'a. Okay, the religious evidences of bara do not cover those areas. In those areas you have to do ihtiyat, intellect. Then the ihtiyatul aqli comes in and tells, no, bara'a, this is not your area, get lost. I am going to take care of this scenario. The guy needs to do ihtiyat. Again, I'll repeat this. It's very important. And this is exactly what we are going to apply. Okay. So, and I'm done. So, the maslak haqq ta'a, which is the maslak of, now I'm going to tell you, of Sayyid al-Khoei Quddas Sirruh. Okay. And Shaykh al-Sadr Rahmatullah alayhi followed. Maslak haqq ta'a says you have to do ihtiyat, aqlan. Unless if there is religious evidence overriding your haqq, the haqq of Allah, of ihtiyat from Allah. Allah tells you, I'm not interested in this haqq. So bara'ah comes, religious evidences come and override. But there's a condition here. Focus on this condition. This is what we're going to use, inshallah, in upcoming session. The condition is, yes, bara'ah is dominant after ihtiyat has been overridden. But in only areas where the evidences of bara'ah are applicable. Where evidences of bara'ah are not applicable, ihtiyat comes down and pushes the bara away. Get lost, bara. This is my area. I'm still dominant, okay? You did not push me totally away. So what does that mean? Saeed, can you give us an example in doubtful case? Ihtiyat is observed? Yes. Al-ilm al-ijmali. Remember this word? Al-ilm al-ijmali. What does ilm al-ijmali mean? That means there is a doubt. Either the blood has fallen in this cup or in this cup. Okay. Ilm al-ijmali. Doubt and doubt. Wait. There's a knowledge on it. Unspecified knowledge. So there's knowledge and there are unspecific doubtful objects. So as long as there is knowledge, ihtiyat says, no. Here you have to do precautionary measures. Okay. Leave both of them. Do tayammum. Okay, you can't you. But Sayyidina, there's a doubt. And Bara'ah includes the doubt. No, Bara'ah includes doubt. But there are areas Bara'ah does not cover those doubt. When there is knowledge and doubt, knowledge is qata' hujjah. You have to knowledge overrides it. So what will I do in this doubtful situation? Because I have knowledge and doubt. Should I go with Bara'ah and use any of the water for wudu? Because it's doubtful. Or no, should I use ihtiyat because there is knowledge? Because I don't know, there is knowledge 100%. There is bara'ah. I don't know. There is knowledge, but on which I have doubt. So if there is total doubt, bara'ah covers it. But if there is knowledge there, knowledge does not cover. Why? Because knowledge is associated with doubt. So this is an area knowledge associated with doubt, where Bara'ah has to move aside and let the ihtiyat come in. And that is al-ilm al-ijmali, knowledge with two specific areas of doubt. And this is, we mentioned last time, and I explained ilm al-ijmali. We're going to continue further on knowing the ilm al-ijmali and why Sayyid al-Khoei is using ihtiyat on ilm al-ijmali, because of the maslak haqq al-ta'a. That means not every doubt. Only bara'ah covers the doubts where there is no knowledge. But whenever there's a knowledge, either prior knowledge, either unspecified knowledge, bara'ah has no room for that. I think this is too much for today. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين. Inshallah, we will try to continue next week. I hope it was, and you can review the recording